What's going on, PC fam? How y'all doing today? Welcome to another episode of Chill with Chill. We are here live with y'all. Chilltown, how's it going?
I know we do a lot of like pro basketball stuff, but this March Madness it's actually I've been peeking my head in on the Big Ox, and like the women's game looks pretty good, yo. The women's game looks pretty good. I ain't gonna fight you on that, yo. The women's game looks real good, and it's a lot of ballers out here that I really did not know about. For real. So I'm feeling what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, these conference tournaments have been dope. I've been watching conference tournaments. I can't wait for the March Madness tournament. It's gonna be fire. I'm big on NC State. I like them on the women's side, but I've been watching the men's team too. NC State. I've been watching the men's. They're pretty decent too. I like what I'm seeing from them.
Yeah, they got a good team, yo. They're in the conference championship against North Carolina. I think either tonight or tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I think the conference championship in the ACC, if it's not today, then it's tomorrow, because Selection Sunday is tomorrow. So
yeah, it's tonight for sure.
Is it tonight?
Yeah, okay. I was looking at the bracket when after NC State had beat Syracuse and they were playing Duke. I was like, they might take care of Duke, and then I'm looking at the other side, and I'm thinking if NC State loses to who was that they just played? I can't remember.
They just beat Virginia.
Was that NC State beat Virginia? Or no, NC State beat Virginia. But I'm thinking of North Carolina. I mean, if North Carolina,
North Carolina they beat Pitt.
Pitt, right? I was like, man, if Pitt could upset UNC, NC State gonna win this championship. I don't think they're gonna beat UNC though, but
I don't either. I don't. that I don't think so. No, I can dig it. I'm feeling this March Madness stuff, yo. I am. I haven't really been watching too much of college basketball, but I got a little bit of a stake in it. You know, I'm a little biased when it comes to college basketball because the head coach of UConn, we went to high school together, we grew up together. So I'm a little bit biased toward UConn because that's my man, Coach Danny Hurley. Yeah,
Danny Hurley, that's what's up. Yeah. They say UConn got the best team in the country.
It's gonna look real tricky if UConn wins it again. It's going to look real tricky for a lot of people because now, very much like what we're going to talk about a little bit later, if UConn wins it in back-to-back seasons, man, like we got to start having a different conversation about Coach Hurley now. Like we can't talk about him the same way. How many coaches have won it in back-to-back seasons? Not many. So we got to start talking about him different now.
Came through and took care of business.
Yes, sir. It was garbage when he first showed up. They was at the bottom of they wasn't even in the Big East. They was in the AAC, and they was at the bottom of the AAC. He comes in and turns the program back around.
Right. I mean, that's Division I ball is going crazy, but let me shout out some JUCO ball. Let me shout out the Yuba College 49ers. Shout them boys out. They just beat San Diego City last night. They're in the Final Four. In the Final Four, about to win, getting ready to win the state championship. I went there back in 2009. My little cousin Demaria is there right now, leading that team. He just won the conference MVP, conference defensive player of the year. That young man is balling. So he just had what he had last night, 24-8. Man, shout out to Demaria. Shout out to the 49ers. Shout out to Coach Korn, Coach Griff. Those are two legends that's been there since I was there in 10 years before I got there. So they run the state as far as JUCO basketball goes. So
Big Ox, I didn't know because I'm a JUCO baby. So I got a soft spot for junior college players. So I didn't know when we went to the national tournament my freshman year. We went to the national tournament in Hutchinson, Kansas. I didn't know that they had their own tournament in the state of California.
Yeah.
You got our own. I did not know that. I thought that whatever region you were in, they came to Hutch, but no. And the way I found that out is when I went to college. I played 2 years at Utah State, and one of the dudes that was on the crew, Roddy Anderson, he went to what's the name of that school? It's in Southern Cal. He went to not LA City, because two dudes that I know went to one of my good buddies' name is Maurice Spillers. He went to LA City, and he was from Long Beach. He ended up going to LA City, and my man Roddy. Oh man, I want to say like not Chino Hills, but something like that. It was a real good school down there.
They got Saddleback, they got Mount Sac, they got a lot of good.
That's it. The second one. What's the second one? That's where I think you went. Yeah, that's where I think you went.
They got a lot of good schools down there. Actually, that's what they were playing yesterday in the tournament. Yeah. So I went down there. I went down there and caught them in San Jose City. They beat them. So California got their own, and then Oregon, Washington, and Idaho also have the NWAC. So they got the NWAC. I played up there too. That's actually where I met Shaq and LeBron. But yeah, so,
the NWAC. I didn't know that. That's dope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But shout out to the college basketball going on, men's and women's. As y'all know, I feel like NC2A women's basketball is the best basketball you're gonna find. And you know what? The best rivalry in sports right now. The best rivalry in sports is not. It's not what y'all think it is.
It's not Duke and North Carolina, Big Ox?
Oh, no. The best rivalry. And it's not even teams. The best rivalry in sports is Angel Reese and Kamilla Cardoso. That's Cardoso. I'm sorry. That's the best rivalry in sports. Angel Reese and Kamilla Cardoso.
So wait a minute, Big Ox. We had a beef last year between Reese and Caitlin Clark, and now it's moved over to Cardoso from South Carolina.
Yeah, well, that beef was it was already kind of a thing, but Caitlin Clark getting involved had to be, they had to make it more about that. But it's because Cardoso and Angel, they actually match up, so it's to me, it's like that's a much better beef, and it's physical. Them young women are not playing with each other. I'm convinced they don't like each other. I'm convinced this is not for show.
Which is good. We need that, Big Ox. That's we got too much buddy going on around here. Hey, how you doing? Like, where's the disdain? Where's the I don't want to sit in a room with this person. Where's you don't talk to me? Where is that at? Like, we need that back in the game, and we need that back in the game because that's what rivalries are about. That's what makes the game fun. That's what the competitiveness where Angel Reese talks about, we ain't scared of, we're not afraid of South Carolina. Now, I can appreciate her logic on that because, listen, we're gonna show up to play. We ain't scared of you guys. Right. And the fact that the big girl from South Carolina, is it Cardoso? I want to make sure I get her name right.
Yeah, Cardoso. Yeah, Kamilla Cardoso.
Cardoso, right? She's Brazilian. I do know that. And with her basically standing up for her team, I know that that's not basketball, Big Ox, and I know that we can't get physical like that because that's bad for the game. But I do understand that. But sometimes you might have to put some hands on some people. Sometimes you might have to put hands on some people to, number one, regulate people. Because she won't do that again. I bet you that. The next team that tries, the next team that sees South Carolina, they know we ain't for none of that nonsense. Yeah. We don't do that.
They got an enforcer over there.
Yes, sir. We ain't for none of that.
I honestly, like I said, I think it was necessary. She had to do what she had to do. Flage and some of the other girls on LSU were throwing elbows all game. They were getting a little upset besides itself. And Flage was having a great game. The only problem was when fans started getting involved. Flage brother jump over the thing. Like that was way unnecessary. Like y'all gotta, y'all relax. Let this happen. I think coach obviously coaches handled it properly. Flage when apologized to Coach Staley. It was, I don't think it was a big deal. I think it's just like Coach Staley said, these are young women. I think sometimes we forget because these young women are and young men are so in the media, and we forget these are babies. They're 18, 19, 20 years old. They're still, they still can get beside themselves real quick. So, I mean, I think honestly, I think they handled that perfect. That could have got a lot worse.
Oh, it could have got way uglier than it was. It could have got way uglier than it was. Yeah. And the fact that they was able to simmer those guys down and handle it the way that they handled it, yes, I applaud, number one, the police, and number two, the coaches who kept everybody that was supposed to be on. South Carolina they ended up getting some people suspended. So did LSU, but this could have been an all-out brawl. Which ain't necessary because at the end of the day, that ain't basketball. Right, what basketball is basketball is competitive. There might be some pushing and some shoving and guys getting in other guys' faces. Women too, getting in other guys' faces. But that's part of the game, right? That's part of who we are as competitors. But the reason why we're playing at this level is because we didn't do that other stuff on the streets where you punching people and swinging on people. No, we wasn't doing that because that's not who we are. We ball players. That's what we do. Now, you ain't got to take nothing from other people neither. Let's make sure we clear on that, Big Ox. Because just off the strength that I'm a ball player, don't think for 1 second that I got to take some slack from you, that I got to take nonsense from you. Because no, I don't. We can definitely get it on. And I talk more with my game than I do with these. Because if you're doing this, then you ain't a ball player. Now you just want to fight. And there ain't no room in the game for that. None.
No room for hooligans in the game, man. We love the sport. You know what, Chilton? Let's do something a little different real quick. Let's get straight to the lobby real quick. I got somebody in the back. Let's see. Now, see, what's going on?
What's up, y'all? What's up?
What up?
How you doing?
You.
What you got for us this morning?
I have some questions. I know that the East, I feel like, is a little bit, less competitive than the West, at least to me. I know Chill feels a little different on that, right? But
I just think that before you go any further, I just think I think the narrative of what the Eastern Conference used to be, that's not what it is anymore. And I think people still living on that. They still living on the East being like what it was when James was running around and when Allen Iverson was running around. That's not the Eastern Conference anymore. It's way more competitive today than it was back then.
I agree, but also having like or at least a few of the people that was in the East jumping over to the West makes it a little more lopsided than what it is. Certain teams that are in the because I'm a Nets fan, unfortunately. Cam Thomas is just in purgatory.
Let me ask you this: with some of the guys from the East jumping over to the West, does that just automatically mean that those guys make the West better, or did players from the East get better to balance it out? So, for example, KD goes to the West, Irv goes to the West, but then Jason Tatum gets better, Embiid gets better. Let's see. Orlando has gotten better, who we're going to talk about. Orlando has gotten much better. So wouldn't that now don't get me wrong, I won't equate Bonchero to KD, right? I'm not doing that. I'm not equating Cole Anthony or anybody on the Orlando Magic to Kyrie Irving. But the guys that ended up going out west, wouldn't that balance out the Eastern Conference somewhat? I don't mean evenly, but balance it out a little bit more, considering that the East has gotten much better. I mean, I think last year in the NBA, I think if I'm not mistaken, Milwaukee had the best record in the league.
Yeah, Milwaukee had the best record in the league. I think Miami and in 21 when they was in the
22 when they lost to the Celtics in the East
22,
Finals.
Okay, 22.
I think they was the number 2 seed, something like that. Number 1 seed.
Yeah, they was the number 1 seed. So I believe that I still feel like it's still a really big gap, because for it to be such a small difference in the win-loss ratio to the West compared to how I think the Boston Celtics is the only team in the NBA with a clinch spot.
Right.
Like the West doesn't have a clinch spot yet for any team because it's still a dogfight and there's 20 games left. For it to be 25 games and the Boston Celtics have clinched a spot, I just feel like it's still such a big gap.
Isn't it fair? Wouldn't it be fair to say that just Boston's just that much better than everybody in the East? Because everybody else in the East after that, I mean, Milwaukee, Cleveland, the Knicks, Orlando, Indiana. How much real separation is there? I mean, from Milwaukee to, I'm thinking Milwaukee to Orlando. So from 2 to 5, they only separated by 4 games. From 6 to, let's see, where am I at? From 6 to 8, they only separated by a half a game. That's it. And the teams in the play-in tournament, I mean, Atlanta and Chicago, they are who they are. Just like at the bottom of the West. I'm not on the fence when I say the Lakers are not a good team. They're just not. I'm just not buying it.
You don't think the Lakers can't, like, they just can't take none of the teams that's in the play right now? You don't think so?
I know that they might be built for the postseason, but as a regular season team, from what I'm seeing right now, this is not a good team, yo. It's just not. It's not. But when I think about the East, I think about, like you just said, the reason why Boston's clinched, maybe because they're just better than everybody else. I don't think that should be a knock on the East.
I think for the I don't know. I feel like in the playoffs there's going to be something that's going to get abused for the Celtics. I don't think that the regular season indicates as much as we think, because I also remember in 22 when they thought that Denver was going to be Golden State. Denver beat Golden State every time in the regular season, every time. And they didn't have Murray, they didn't have Porter, but they beat them every time in the regular season.
Right.
And that didn't even go past 6 games. So I just feel like it's a little hard to indicate. Plus, when you have certain guys that are probably better for playoff standards, I feel like Orlando's going to do a bit better than what people think. I could be wrong, but I just feel like with how defense and rebounding is very important in the playoffs, that they're going to do a lot better than what people are going to really think that they're going to do. Same as Miami.
We're going to find out.
You hit it right there in the same rebounding. I've heard so many times on this platform how rebounding doesn't really matter, and rebound is not that important. So I'm happy that somebody knows. But y'all in the scene, appreciate you pulling up, fam. Check us next time.
Absolutely.
Have a good one. Have a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Boston. I think Boston is clearly showing how good they are. That's a scary team. I think this is probably the best team we've seen in a while from Boston.
I just think it's a considerable gap between them and everybody else in the East. Like when I think about Milwaukee, when I think about Cleveland, Orlando, the Knicks, Philly, all of those guys have gaping holes.
Mm-hmm.
None of those teams are as complete as the Boston Celtics are, and it shows. Right. And I think I told you this. If they ended up for the rest of the season, if they went 500, they'd still win 60 games.
Mm.
They'd still win 60 games if they went 500 for the rest of the season. So with that being said, all of these other teams, Milwaukee has a big hole, right? The Knicks, we don't know what they're going to do with Julius Randle.
What is Milwaukee's big hole, Chotel?
But their perimeter defense. Their perimeter defense is their biggest issue. That those guys, Malik Beasley, not just Malik Beasley, Damian Lillard, they get hunted and they can't be protected. Brook Lopez, I think that his best years are behind him, and they have a difficult job protecting him. And I do think that he still protects the rim, but I think his best defensive years are behind him. Right. Plus, when you get him in switching action, and they do a lot of switching, which I'm still having a difficult time with that, with 1s and 5s. They do that just off the strength of Damian Lillard not knowing actually how to defend. But with that being said, that's an issue with Milwaukee. Philadelphia has their issue with Joel Embiid being out of the lineup. Now they're trying to figure out their entire identity now, because that's who Philadelphia was. Before Joel Embiid went out of the lineup, that was their identity. Everything we're doing is Joel Embiid. How we run our offense, who we run our offense through, where we run our offense, our transition defense. Everything we're doing was Joel Embiid. They now have to figure that out in terms of their identity. Now you look at the New York Knicks, who they're starting to get guys back. They just got OG Anunoby back. In the process of them getting OG Anunoby back, well, sure. They still haven't gotten Julius Randle back. And we don't know what he's going to look like when he comes back. Because we already know, at least I do, that they're going to go as far as Julius Randle takes them. Because as good as Jalen Brunson is, as good of a defense as the Knicks have, if Julius Randle doesn't perform, they're not going far. So there's a lot of issues with those other teams, and none of those teams in the Eastern Conference are nearly as complete as the Boston Celtics. So I wouldn't say that the East is weak more than Boston is just much better than everybody else.
Right. I can agree. Who would you say is Boston's biggest threat?
Themselves, to be honest with you, Big Ox, because I don't really see any team in the East that I think, even if they're healthy, that could beat them 4 times in a week. I think Cleveland would give them a run for their money. I think the Knicks would challenge them. But for the most part, I don't really see anybody else really giving them a run for their money, because like people talk about the Miami Heat and they talk about how tough the Miami Heat are. Well, I watched them play the Miami Heat not too long ago. And I watched Jalen Brown get into it with Duncan Robinson. You're talking about a Boston Celtic team who in the past, they might have folded up. They might have crumbled when it got rough, which is what the Miami Heat want to do. They want to dirty up the game. And I don't mean dirty in a bad way, but they want to rough the game up a little bit more. And in the past, the Celtics would have folded under that. Well, they didn't that time. In fact, they stood up to the Miami Heat. So when I see stuff like that, now that tells me what you guys have to do is now you guys have to play basketball. And your offense isn't good enough to keep up with the Celtics. And your defense isn't good enough to slow them down. So with all of that being said, I don't think that the Miami Heat stand a chance against the Celtics, to be quite honest with you. I'd be surprised if the Celtics didn't handle them in like 5 games, maybe 6. I'd be surprised if they did.
Okay, let me see. We got a quick super chat from Reggie Reg. He says the Lakers' chances are thinner than Dub's mustache.
As much as I want to say that the Lakers can make a run, even though we saw them last year do it. We saw them last year. They were a playing team, and they ended up going all the way to the Western Conference Championship. I'm also looking at this team thinking to myself, how good can they really be? I mean, D'Angelo Russell is their best long ball shooter, no doubt about that. I respect that. D'Angelo Russell is their best long ball shooter. He's been playing great as of late. He's been playing great as of late, and Anthony Davis is their anchor on defense. James is still the man, though. That's the difference. James is still the man on this crew. And because James is still the man, how far can he take them? I think James's days of throwing teams on his back and taking them to the NBA championship are over. He can't do that anymore. He can give you a game. He'll even give you 2 games in a series, maybe 3. But to throw a team on his back and drive you guys through the playoffs, because we're going to have days where Anthony Davis isn't Anthony Davis. We're going to have games where D'Angelo Russell isn't shooting it like he is. We're going to have games where Darvin Ham, his rotations aren't up to par. So there's a lot of questions with the Lakers. Even if they do get a good matchup, I'm still I'm not on. I was on board with them earlier because I saw how good they could be defensively. But where I'm at now, I'm good.
Yeah, right. Okay, let's see who else we got in the back. Let me get Malik. Let's go. What up, Malik?
Let's go, boss. How you feeling?
What up?
What's good? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you hot.
For sure. I've been on here before. I don't know if y'all remember. It's like a time ago I was talking about Trae Young versus Jalen Brunson a couple months ago. That take kind of looks crazy now, though, the way Brunson hooping.
Does it? Does it really look crazy? I mean, Atlanta's just bad, if we being honest. Atlanta's just a bad team. That doesn't mean that him and Trae Young, that Jalen Brunson and Trae Young, the comparison. I mean, I still think Trae Young better.
No,
it's the difference between being elite. Yeah, I still think Trae Young is better, but that's just me.
For sure, man. I live in Minneapolis, I'm from Minnesota. I think real high of Ant. I love how you talk about Ant. Dude, this might be crazy. I think he's the most talented player in the league. Anthony.
Well, if you think about the talent and how the talent gets spread around, how many more talented guys from an athlete standpoint, from a ball handling standpoint, from a shot creation standpoint, from a defensive standpoint, how many dudes in the league that you could say are legit better than him in terms of talent? Let's see, Luka, but he ain't the athlete that
or the defender.
No, he's not the defender.
Can't play off the ball either. Ant can play off the ball. He can play with all stars.
Wemby. Let's see. In terms of talent, SGA may be a little bit more talented than him.
I'm taking Ant. I think Ant more of a talent. He's more athletic. You got to think he's 4 years younger too. Like we got to factor that we're comparing him. He's a whole like high school, college, away from him age wise.
What is Anthony Edwards? 22, something like that.
Yeah, he's 22 years old.
Yeah, and SGA just turned 25. Is he 25 or 26? 26? Okay.
He's about to be 26 soon, yeah.
Oh, so he's still 25. So you preaching to the choir when you talk to me about Anthony Edwards. Like I said, I think he's going to be the league MVP at some point in the next 3 to 5 years. I think he's going to be the best 2 guard in the game in the next 2 years tops. That's as far as I'm going. The next 2 years tops, I think he's going to be the best 2 guard in the game. My only problem, and I hate to break this to you, I think he's going to be so good that he's going to outgrow Minnesota, like James outgrew Cleveland. That's the only issue that I have, is that as good as he is, he's just going to be too big of a deal for Minnesota. And he might love it up there, but and they're going to pay him, but I just feel like he's going to outgrow them, just like James outgrew Cleveland. And it happens. It happens to the best players, right? To Kawhi Leonard, the idea that Kawhi Leonard wanted to go home. Yeah, Toronto just wasn't enough for him. For everything that they were doing, it just wasn't enough. So that's unfortunate. But I'm a big Anthony Edwards guy. I dig everything about his game.
No, for sure. I mean, to combat that, can I ask you this? I mean, is it possible he could be one of them dudes who stays with the franchise his whole career and he wins? Like he might be that great. Like he might be that great. I would love that. I think if young LeBron had a cat and a Rudy on his side, he stays in Cleveland also. You know that, and like Ant does have the talent. Like, it's not like he doesn't have the talent. I feel like if a young LeBron had a Cat and a Gobert, LeBron probably gets a couple rings and staying in Cleveland, you know? He didn't really have that type of talent as a young guy compared to Ant.
Well, I'm on record saying that Cleveland wasn't serious about winning. They found a guy who can get them there, and like, we're just gonna ride with this guy. Minnesota's actually building a unit to win. That's why when Cat got hurt, man, that really bummed me out because I'm thinking, yo, this is the only team I feel like in the Western Conference that could really challenge Denver.
No, for real, man.
If I'm being honest, I think they smoke Oklahoma City. I don't think Denver beat. I think they smoke Oklahoma City, to be honest with you. When I think about the better teams in the Western Conference, and I felt like Minnesota, they match up really well with Denver. From the perimeter guys, not just from the perimeter guys, their front line, they're going to give Joker as much trouble as possible. Don't look at 28 a game. I mean, he could have a lot. Cat, not just Cat. Rudy gives him a lot of trouble, and it's not as simple as people. And it's not as simple as people think. When you're talking about Jaden McDaniels being on the perimeter, he gives Jamal Murray, he gives Aaron Gordon when he switches on him, he gives those guys a lot of trouble. Anthony Edwards, the defender that he is, he's going to give Jamal Murray a lot of trouble. They have the ability to slow you down, especially that Denver team. They have that ability. So I felt like they're the only real team in the Western Conference that could really challenge the Denver Nuggets. And the fact that Cat went down, man, I was like, man.
I know. I mean, all we can do is hope and pray he come back healthy. That's all we can do, That's all I got to hope. I think it's a blessing in disguise, though, because instead of us playing like a hungry, because I know, LeBron's old, Lakers, I'm still scared of them. Like, I don't want to play them as the 1-8. If we get to play, no disrespect to your Kings, I think De'Aaron Fox is special, too. I want to talk about him, too. I think Fox is super underrated. People do not talk about how special of a talent he is. Fox is a top 5 point guard. He was a borderline MVP candidate before he got hurt. He's got better every year. I was telling my friends Fox is better than Ja 3 years ago, before it was cool. So I think Fox is special, but I feel like that's the best matchup for the Wolves.
I got roasted online when I said that, by the way. I got roasted online when I said that. When I love
Fox's game.
When I said that Fox was better than Ja. This was when they was talking about him as a league MVP. I'm like, every time he matches up with Fox, Fox eats his lunch.
He does.
Every time they go up against
people didn't talk about it. Remember
every time they go up against each other, Fox eats his lunch.
Yeah, because I remember that one ESPN dude, I think Amin, he said Ja's who Fox wants to be, and then Fox came out, he called him a B word. And then I think since that, Fox has been in go mode on him. Like, every time he's seen him, it's like, nah, I need that. So now, for sure, I agree with you. I think Fox he's a generational, like, kind of athlete. Like, he's the fastest player in the league. People don't talk about that enough. And he's really skilled with a mid-range pull-up. He got a 3 pull-up. He gets to the lane whenever he wants. He's a closer. He can sit down when he wants. Like, this dude's a real special talent.
That's why when people say to me, yo, we done with the 90s. When I see these other players and I compare them, that's where I get it from. So Edwards, when I see Mitch Richmond, I'm like, that's Mitch Richmond right there, except a better athlete. When I see De'Aaron Fox, and I'm like, that's Nick Van Exel right there, except a better athlete. When I see these dudes, that's what's coming to me. So I can't just get rid of that stuff and just go off of De'Aaron Fox just being De'Aaron Fox. I'm like, wait a minute, I've seen that before. I've seen a dude like that before. And when I see him, I do my best to point him out. So the fact that Sacramento, the fact that they've been up and down like they've been up and down, once the playoffs start, for them to get a favorable matchup, my man Big Ox already told me he wants nothing to do with New Orleans, who, by the way, is at the best record in the league since the All-Star break. They've been rolling, by the way.
What they did yesterday? You see what Zion did yesterday?
They own the Clippers. They own the Clippers.
Get into that.
So be clear, they own the Clippers. The Clippers, they played the Clippers 13 times.
Yeah.
These are how many times they lost on. That's it. They're looking at the Clippers like a bucket of extra crispy. Like, we can beat these dudes. No doubt about it, we can beat them. But to close, I was really bummed about Minnesota because I feel like they were the only team to challenge in the Western Conference against Denver. And I'm hoping if Cat could come back, the playoffs start in a month. If we could get Cat back in the next couple of weeks or so, I think that I definitely think that you guys got a shot. Definitely.
No, for sure. I think we do too, man. I think if we can get him back healthy, I think he's got to. If he can give us 25 points per game in a series, he has a matchup. Like, if we play OKC, he has to know he got to kill that series. Like, your matchups are young Chet interiorly. Like, you got to kill. So, like, if we play the Lakers, we need you to show up for 25 a game. If he can give us that, I like our chances for sure. I think we can go all the way.
Too.
Because I know Ant will kill.
Shot.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I think you got a legit shot.
Sure do, Malik. Appreciate you though, fam, pulling
absolutely.
up, man. We're not done though, man. Stick around, check us out.
Yeah,
for sure,
absolutely.
Man. Always.
All right,
always slide through, for sure.
Good to talk to you, brother. Absolutely. For sure. Yep. Hey, to the dude Huncho, aka Luncho in the chat. I got a question for you. In this era of basketball from 2010 to 2019, if we had a dude in that era for half the decade was an all-pro, are we saying, yo, he didn't do anything? Is that what we're doing? Because that's what Mitch Richmond did in the 90s with Jordan running around. He was an all-pro for half the decade. Are we saying that he didn't do anything? If we got a guy from 2010 to 2019 that was an all-pro for half the decade, that's every other year I'm making an all-pro team. Are we really saying that this dude didn't do anything? This is why your dudes call you Luncho. This is for that reason right there, B, because you don't listen. You just talk. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Big Ox.
Yeah. Oh, sure. That's what I was gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've made it known that you're against Joel coming back playing. Mm-hmm. But are you okay with Cat coming back playing?
Him neither, Big Ox.
Okay, okay.
Him neither. I'm keeping that same energy with Cat because Cat is actually. This is an injury that's a quality of life injury, Big Ox. Like when I'm 40, right. Like when I ain't playing no more, when I'm 45, how am I going to be able to, how am I going to walk? Like, how is that going on? And that's what I got to think about. That's not something that, sure, I'm 27, 28 years old. I ain't thinking that far down the road because I'm thinking that I'm going to feel like this forever. No, I'm not.
Right.
I'm going to be 40 one day. I'm going to be 50 one day. And how am I going to feel about getting out of bed? How am I going to, I've made enough money that I'm never going to have to work again. I'm going to be good. Mm-hmm. But what about my quality of life? Do I want to be limping around here? I seen Kevin McHale, who doesn't walk very well, and he's 60 and was playing on a broken foot. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I understand that, that's what they did back then, and you laid it all on the line. This is what we did. I played with a broken foot. I do understand that. But, what's more important, B? Like, I think Cat got some years left. I feel like he does have some years left. So I don't want to lose him, end up tearing his knee up again.
Right.
And then now I don't have him for next season. I don't want to do that. No.
Yeah, there's no need for Cat to rush it.
Right.
Even although, I could imagine being on that team and being like, man, we could really do it this year and then go out like that. It's probably hard to accept. Right. But like you said, it's quality of life. I know I've been more so pushing for Joel to come back, and I'm still standing on that. Unless it's something like I said, where if the doctor's like, nah, I don't think it's a good idea, Joel should probably not push. But I think it's more. I think Joel needs to be back a little more than Cat, as far as just if we're talking legacy talks, if we're talking franchise talks, if we're talking about the process and what's come of the process, if we're talking about that. Then yeah, I want Joel to come back. I think he needs to come back if he can. Quality of life, they should both just sit down until training until it's time to get back. Because they're on top of that, they're both real big dudes. When you're that size and your knees are no good in your 40s and 50s, man, it's gonna be tough to get around. It's hard to get up out the chair. It's crazy. You'll be walking and all of a sudden your knee will lock up on you. Imagine you're at Disneyland. Your knee locks up on you, like you don't want to live through that. So I can definitely understand not playing through it. I'm 100% a fan of looking out for yourself. So forget that ring, forget that championship, man. Take care of your body. Think about your family. Yeah. So before I want to get into some of these topics, but let's start with the lobby first today. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. We got Breezy in the back. What's up, Breezy?
Yo, what up, Big Ox? What up, Chill?
I'm chilling, trying not to be the villain, B. Trying not to be the villain, fan. It's hard out here.
Yeah, but y'all right. I had seen, I forget what podcast it was, and he was talking about how the average life of a career of a NBA player is only 4 years. That's the average. So you gotta take hats off to guys like Mitch Richmond, and I seen Mitch Richmond and guys like that. They got a name because they had a game versus Jordan. It was like 30 versus 30. Like Jordan, he gonna drop his 36 or whatever, but Mitch Richmond dropped like 32 or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I understand that, but being from where I'm at, just the title of the show, chill. And I guess I'm supposed to wish the best for the rest of the league, but not really. You know what I'm saying? Right. I still want Brooklyn to win, but if Kyrie don't win with the West and Dallas, it won't hurt me none. You know what I'm saying? If KD don't win, it won't matter. I think Chicago, they tough. They just beat Indiana, I think, in a tight game the other day. They look like they could get that 8th seed if you know what I'm saying, how in that play-in. I ain't gonna lie. But that 10th spot, I think I don't know. Atlanta, I think they lost Sadiq Bey. I'm not trying to hate or nothing like that. I'm just saying, so and for most of the winning that Atlanta was doing was because of their scoring. And I know that was because of Bey coming off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Who the Nets drafted that we could have kept, but that's a whole different story.
Make sure we mention that he was on our crew and we could have had him. By the way, let's make sure.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. But I just wanted to ask you though, Chill. Like, as far as NBA, I think Miami was the closest last year. But I think I don't know if that's hard to see a team doing what Miami did last year. But in your opinion, who's your favorite underdog? You ever had a favorite underdog that went far in the playoffs?
The Knicks in '99. The Knicks in '99 when they ran into the San Antonio Spurs. I think that if they would have ran into Portland, I think they would have beat Portland in the championship.
Okay,
that's the one team that I was thinking about. It's not many 8 seeds that drop the 1 seed, and it's not many 8 seeds that go deep into the playoffs. There's a reason why you're the 8 seed. 9 times out of 10, you're just not very good.
Who was the 1 seed that year, Chill?
The 1 seed was Miami.
It was Miami. Oh, okay.
Now, don't get me wrong. That Knicks team, they really weren't. I mean, it was a shortened season, and Allen Houston and Latrell Sprewell had a couple of injuries, and in the process of them having injuries, they ended up falling in the standings because that 50-game season, like they was playing back-to-back games, like they was playing triple. So you had a lot of guys beat up. You had guys playing 4 games in 5 nights, stuff like that, and doing back-to-backs. So
that's crazy.
I know that sounds crazy, but that's what was going on to condense the season. But that's probably the one underdog that I was thinking about. That I can honestly say, I ain't even a Knicks fan, but I was like, yo, can these dudes really win it? But when they ran up on San Antonio, I knew San Antonio was too much.
My bad, Breezy. I just want a little more information on this because we talked about this a couple of days ago, Chilton, when you said Patrick Ewing was hurt his Achilles, was it?
He had a partially torn Achilles. They ain't having for the rest of the playoffs.
And so I know Pat was on the other side of what he was in the early 90s, but if Patrick was healthy, do the Knicks beat San Antonio?
They got a better shot because now you got a guy in the post that can combat with Tim Duncan in addition to Marcus Camby. Like they had to switch when Marcus Camby goes out the lineup. Now LJ playing Tim Duncan. LJ was too small to play Tim Duncan, but if Ewing is out there, then now that's something completely different. Now you got another big body out there that can bang with Tim Duncan and could give you some buckets. And Patrick Ewing wasn't over at that point. He still was viable. Like he could still do stuff. So that kind of threw a monkey wrench in what they was doing. Definitely threw a monkey wrench in what they was doing.
Yeah, my bad. Go ahead, Breezy.
Nah, I was listening, keeping it real with you. Y'all putting me on this stuff. Word. Hold on.
Real quick. Hey, James, if you go do your homework, my man, like there's a reason why you are the biggest goofy of all the goofies. Would you go do your homework? The Bulls beat the Pacers in overtime. DeMar DeRozan hit the jump shot to put the game in overtime, and then the Bulls beat them. Go do your homework. And you wonder why I'm always on you, B. You always got something slick to say, like you know what you're talking about. When 9 times out of 10, you don't. Why don't you listen and pay attention sometimes and stop being a troll? Damn, I'm sorry, Breezy.
Nah. Again, shout out to you, man. I listen to the content too. It's not like I just come up here to talk. Know what I'm saying? Listen. As far as underdogs, I'll be honest, man. That's not my favorite team. I kind of wish you picked a different team. You know what I'm saying? Those are the crosstown rivals. You know what I'm saying? Word. But that being said, I really feel like the Brooklyn Nets, we had this tag on us for a long time, and now we not even looked at as the underdogs. They just looking at us like, I'm saying, we ain't got no respect. I'm not feeling that. I think we need to get back to what made us a good team, and that's, first things first. Now, I'm not going to be long-winded because honestly, you know what I mean? I know this, you know what I'm saying, my favorite part of the show when you and Big Ox go back and forth. But that being said, I just want to say, you know what I'm saying? Shout out. I just wanted to pull up real quick and ask that one question. Say shout out to you and Big Ox. I love the show, and I'm in the chat.
Good to talk to you, brother. Absolutely.
All right, Brizzy. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Absolutely. Anyway.
So yeah, man.
Anyway.
I remember, even like in the 90s, I remember a lot of series. I remember a lot of games and stuff, but just a lot of the context is just missing. You know what I mean? Like, like Pat getting hurt. I don't necessarily remember all that. I just remember the series. I remember the Spurs and the Knicks. And, like even going back watching those, those are the type of series I love. Chilltown, I'm a huge Allen Houston fan. I love Latrell Sprewell. So I can imagine right now, if that was like, let's say if we put the 99 season right now, the Knicks would be my favorite team.
I'm sure.
The Knicks would be my favorite team. I would be a Knick right now. Like, yeah, we rocking with them. Let's go.
Word.
Yeah. But so Chilltown, I want to talk about a team that's been going under the radar, who had quite a bit of buzz at the beginning of the season, though, honestly, and rightfully so. But I think the little slump they took kind of knocked them out of people's minds. Franz got hurt. Let's talk about the Orlando Magic and why are they getting overlooked? Do they have a chance?
I think that they're going to cause some trouble in the playoffs, Big Ox. Like, so if the playoffs started today, they'd have to see the Knicks in round one. And the Knicks would have their hands full with these dudes. The Knicks would absolutely have their hands full with these dudes. I don't like the fact that Paolo doesn't rebound as much as I want him to, but he does the other stuff. As a big dude, as a big guy, he's averaging over 6 assists a game. He's still a 20-a-game guy. France, being multifaceted and multi-purpose as he is, I think Jalen Suggs at some point is going to be an all-league defender. Big Ox, you talking about an Orlando Magic team that's won 7 of their last 10, or I think 8 of their last 11 games, and 6 straight. They holding teams under 100 points. Not only are they holding teams under 100 points, I'm on record saying this. Big Ox, you love dirty work guys, just like I do. Yeah. The rotation dudes. There isn't a player in the league that I think you're going to get the value, you're going to get the production and the value from more than Jonathan Isaacs in Orlando. I mean, we're talking about a dude who plays under 20 minutes. Not only does he play under 20 minutes, I think he's shooting over 60%, and he's giving you 5 rebounds. 5 rebounds. So I'm talking about when I'm talking about a guy that's doing that much, 5 rebounds and 2 blocks in under 20 minutes, you're not going to get that kind of value. I doubt very seriously that you're going to get that kind of value from a guy coming off the bench in that little bit of time. This Orlando Magic team, they're going to be something to deal with come playoff time. And I also think that they're going to be something to deal with in the future because, again, they ain't really paying nobody. Cole Anthony's still on his rook deal. Jalen Suggs is still on his rook deal. I think he's up at the next season. So it depends. It depends on which way that they want to go. But I like the direction that the Orlando Magic are going in. I like what I'm seeing from them.
Okay.
Yeah.
If they were, let's say, like you said, playoffs start today, right now.
Yep.
Let's say they pop the Knicks. Let's say they pop the Knicks. Does that shake anything up? Because I mean, we talked about this before during the season, during the beginning of the season. Pardon me. During the beginning of the season, we talked about this. The Orlando Magic being a legit threat to the Celtics. Is that still a thing? Was that just a regular season thing, or is that?
I think that series would be a lot more competitive than you think it would be, Big Ox. I don't think that that's a series that if they ended up, like you just mentioned, if they end up, let's just say that they get past, let's say that they get past the Knicks, if they end up seeing them in the first round. That team, that's a bad match. I think that as complete as the Celtics are, it still is a bad matchup. I think KP kind of tips the scale a little bit off the strength that now he brings them that stretch 5 that they didn't have. But now with France, with the way that they play defense, I still think that Boston would beat them. I just think it would be a much more competitive series. One, because I think that how Boston spreads you out, how much they bring the big guys away from the basket. So guys like Franz, guys like Paolo, I think that they would wear them dudes out on the perimeter. Plus, dealing with guys like Drew Holiday, ball hawking guys like Cole Anthony, right? Ball hawking guys like Jalen Suggs. I think that would cause a lot of problems. But on the flip side to that, I think Jalen Suggs would give Jason Tatum a lot of trouble. I think he would give Jaylen Brown a lot of trouble, pushing him to the left and being physical with him, not just being physical.
Jalen Suggs, you said?
Jalen Suggs. I think he would give Jaylen Brown a lot of trouble. Absolutely.
Okay.
I also think he would give Jaylen Brown. I also think he would give Jason Tatum a lot of trouble. So and this team collectively, the way that they play defense, and guys like Jonathan Isaac, like I just talked about, him coming in at 6'10", he would give Jason Tatum a lot of trouble. He's got this unique ability to get guys off the basketball that are on the ball, like make them give the ball up. Any rebounds, I think that Orlando Magic team would give the Celtics a lot of trouble. I think the Celtics would ultimately beat them, but I think it would be it would be a lot more competitive than people give them credit for. A lot more.
Right. I think that's one of those series that go to 6 that's a little more competitive than it is. I think that's because just like you said, but if Jonathan Isaac was able to play more, I could see Orlando upsetting the Celtics if it's about Jonathan Isaac not being able to play that much. Because I disagree with the Jalen Suggs to Jason Tatum thing. I don't think Jalen Suggs has anything for Jason Tatum. I think he's too small. I can see him maybe getting up under Jaylen Brown for maybe a game or two. I respect Orlando, and as you know, I'm a huge Franz Wagner fan. I like Paolo. I like everything you like about Paolo. You call him Antoine Walker with athleticism.
Yes.
I saw somebody say, is he a mix of LeBron and Carmelo? And I was watching it was highlights I was watching. I was like,
it's not crazy to say that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right. Let me see. What is Leaf Diggy talking about here in this one? Leaf Diggy's been a member for 8 months. Shout out to Leaf Diggy. Appreciate you, brother. Says, Bobby, I'm taking you and chill in the whole chat over Scottie Pippen defensively. Soon as G Hill and Iverson came in, we all saw the 90s defense. So, Leaf, are you saying you're done with the 90s?
That's what it sounds like. Yeah. That's what it sounds like.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that from you, Leaf Diggy, but hey, to each his own. Yeah. So, man, y'all let us know in the chat. What do y'all think about Orlando? Does Orlando have what's their ceiling? What's their ceiling, chat? Chilltown, what is Orlando's ceiling? I need to know from y'all too, chat. What's the ceiling for Orlando?
Depending on the matchup, I think they could win a playoff series, to be honest with you. I think that's their ceiling. Maybe the conference. Kind of what I saw for Cleveland last year. I thought Cleveland could win a playoff series. That depending on the matchup. And if Orlando gets a good playoff matchup, like if they end up running up on like the Knicks and it's decimated for injuries that the Knicks have, I think Orlando would give the Knicks a fight. I think they give them a damn good fight. I don't know if that's a series that the Knicks just walk past them. No, I'm not doing that. I think they can win a playoff series.
Okay. Well, I can't wait for April.
Yes.
I can't wait for April. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that. I think we're gonna have some really good playoffs this year. Let me see.
What's today? Today's the 16th.
Yeah, March 16th. Yeah.
I think the playoffs start a month from Monday. The playoffs start.
That sounds about right. In the chat. Anyways, though, chill.
Yep.
Let's move on to the next segment. Who has the most to gain? I'm talking about coach. What coach? What this is what we'll do, Chichan. We'll go from coach to what player, and then what franchise. What franchise, player, and coach. So let's start with coaches. What coach has the most to gain from winning an NBA championship right now?
Of all the coaches in the playoffs, the coach who has the most to gain, Doc Rivers. Because Doc Rivers could shut all of that logic up about he can't coach. Not only can he not coach, he can only win. He only won with a super team, and the crew that he had, the only reason why they won is because you had Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. And how many times you lost 3-1 leads. The fact that he has this Milwaukee Bucks team, which he took in the middle of the season, with all the deficiencies that they had. For him to get on this crew, and take them to the NBA championship and win it as a coach, a lot of the narrative about him, if you don't shut the logic down that he can't win, you would clearly be a goofy. You would absolutely be that. There's no way that you can say, honestly, if the Milwaukee Bucks won the NBA championship and Doc Rivers wasn't a detriment and he did a good job in coaching them and had those guys playing the way that they could play and winning the NBA championship, I think Doc Rivers definitely has the most to gain of all these coaches.
Okay. That sounds about right. I could agree with that. What about franchise? What franchise has the most to gain from winning the championship?
The Knicks. The last time the Knicks won the NBA championship was the year I was born. So if the Knicks win the NBA championship, this now makes the Knicks less futile, right? So they've basically been over 50 years. So for them to win the NBA championship, now basketball is back in New York. Now the Knicks become even more relevant. And now the idea of it being the mecca of basketball, which it hasn't been that for a long time, but now you can say that, right? You can say that now you can say that, yo, this is the mecca of basketball. This is where basketball is, back in New York. And I think that it would do a lot, not just for the New York Knicks, but just for the NBA in general. James B, the Knicks won the NBA championship more than one time, you goofy. Go do your homework. Did I tell you go do your homework? Didn't I just say to go do your homework? Stop talking and go do your homework, goofy. Stop
I saw
talking.
that, James B. I saw that. That's why I told you to go study for that test, James B.
Go do your homework. Stop talking to me and go do your homework right now. Get off the computer and go do your homework. Shut up and go do your homework. I'm sorry, Big Ox. I'm now in father mode. I'm not talking as chill. Go do your homework, right? Go do your homework, you goofy. Go do it
now.
Stop talking. Turn the TV off and go do your homework.
James B, you got 40 more minutes left of this. I'm talking about
go do your homework.
James B, you about to get put on timeout. Straight punishment.
For real. Go do your homework.
But chill, you said that the Knicks haven't won since the year you was born.
The year I was born.
I would like to point out that we haven't won since before you was even thought of. Matter of fact, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, we can use a championship too, Chilton. I'm just saying, like, well, I believe we were in Cincinnati, so like, that's not even really us. I don't even count that ring. That's not even ours, if you ask me. But you know, whatever. What about player, Chilton? What player has the most to gain?
There are a number of different players that I think it would catapult their career. Like if Giannis won it again. Let's see, 2 league MVPs, a defensive player of the year, being an all-pro first team, playing at a high level, doing that. And on top of that, winning the NBA championship twice in 3 years. I mean, that would be a huge thing for him. Bless you. That would be a huge thing for Giannis. Jason Tatum, I think it would be huge for Jason Tatum because just like with Doc Rivers, all of the narrative on Jason Tatum would have to stop. You would have to start talking about him differently off the strength that he was able to do what you said he couldn't do. Because if the Boston Celtics win the NBA championship, it's gonna be largely due to the fact that he played well. So it wouldn't be because he was just okay or by committee. That team is gonna go as he goes, and if they end up winning it, it's gonna have a lot to do with him. But to be honest with you, Ox, I think the biggest recipient, if he won the NBA championship, who it would do the most for, I think it's Joker. And the reason why I feel like it's Joker, because number one, winning it in back-to-back seasons, and I think he's going to win the league MVP again. So that'd be 3 league MVPs in 4 years, playing at an all-pro level over the last 5 years, his game improving to catapult him to being the best player on the planet. And I'm going to take it a step further than that, Big Ox. I already said to you, if they won it this year, they're going to win it again next year too. So then now we got to talk about Joker way different than how we talk about him now. So a guy who I think would benefit from this the most is Joker, off the strength that their confidence in Denver would go through the roof and they could basically run the table. No doubt about
it. Yeah, that's crazy. If you're in the lobby, if you want me to pull you up, I'm going to need y'all to turn your cameras on for a couple of seconds. Just do the last goofy, you know. So y'all turn.
Yes,
if you just flash the cameras on for a second, you don't have to keep them on. I just got to make sure that you are who you say you are, and then I can get y'all up. Okay, I see you. I got you. Real talk. I got you. Nah, Shamar, I need to see your face, brother. But But okay, we'll get to y'all in the lobby in a moment. We're gonna go through that one more time till 10, but this time we're gonna say who has the most to lose. Who has, so we went over who has the most to gain, who has the most to lose.
Who has the most to lose?
And we'll start with, once again, we'll start with coaches.
The coach that has the most to lose, if they didn't win it, I think it's Ty Lue. That's who I think it is more than anybody, because if I think about what the Clippers were put together to do, the Clippers were put together to specifically win the NBA championship. I need to remind you guys, and I know that you guys don't want to hear this, but James Harden, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Russell Westbrook are all on the same team. I just want to make sure that you guys remember that. Those 4 guys are on the same team. And this team was put together specifically to win the NBA championship. This is the most production. This is the most time that you've had Kawhi Leonard since the 2016, I think the 2016-2017 season. This is the healthiest he's been since then. So because of that, maximizing him to play at an all-league level, both on the offensive and defensive end. Paul George, him also. This is the best opportunity that the Clippers have to win the NBA championship. And if they don't, the blame is going to go on Ty Lue, simply off the strength that this team was put together to win it. Why couldn't they win it? What is the problem with Ty Lue? Why can't you get this crew to win it? How many games have we watched where you coached and Kawhi Leonard didn't come in until 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter and you had a ball game going on? How many times did we have your rotations where Terrence Mann was not in the rotation? That's been going on with the Los Angeles Clippers. So if you look at this crew, and you look at the way it was put together, this crew was put together to win it. And the guy that I think as a coach who has the most to lose, I think it's Ty Lue.
Okay, Chill Town. At first, I was gonna say you probably can answer Doc for this one too. If they lose, they're gonna blame it on Doc.
Yeah,
they're gonna blame it on Doc. Yeah. Okay,
but Big Ox, is that the case though? Because consider if they lose, well, you're gonna blame it on me anyway.
Right.
If we lose, you're gonna blame me anyway. As opposed to if we win, like you got to talk different about me. If we lose, it's just gonna be the same narrative on me that it's Doc Rivers.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, well, let me go because we with the coach franchise. What franchise has the most to lose by losing this championship?
Which franchise has the most to lose by losing this championship? It's not the Lakers, because if the Lakers end up making the playoffs, I mean, this would be great for ratings. It'd be great for the Lakers if they ended up going to the NBA championship. It'd be great for ratings. It'd be great for business. So as a franchise, I don't think that they would suffer that much. But then again, the fact that they were in the Western Conference Championship last year, and if they ended up making the finals this year, that would be a big deal if they lost. It's either them or the Miami Heat, now that I think about it. Because now, if the Miami Heat were to get back to the finals and lose again, so this is a team that's been in the NBA championship. This is a team that's been in the NBA championship twice in the last 3 years, been in the Eastern Conference championships 22, 23, and 24, 4 times in 5 years. And they end up going back to the finals again and losing again. We can't keep saying, yo, Spo is doing a great job. No, we can't keep saying that. No, they
you don't think they're overachieving?
No, we can't keep saying that. No.
No?
Okay. Not when you get to the mountaintop twice in back-to-back years. No, we can't keep saying, yo, they're doing a great job, because if you're doing that, then you got to do the same thing with other teams that have done that. You got to do the same thing with the Celtics. You got to do the same thing with the Lakers. You got to do the same thing with all of these other teams that have gotten to the mountaintop. You can't keep saying, oh, yo, we at the mountaintop. No, you got to win it. And if you don't win it, then the criticism, we got to start talking about you different, because you're more of a loser than you are a winner. Because you can't just keep getting there, because ain't no guarantee that you're going to win it. But if you keep getting there and you keep losing, yeah, the narrative on you changes. Now we got to start looking at Spo as a coach. Now we got to start looking at the personnel. Well, we've gotten there as good as we are, and in the process of us getting there, it's not like you're getting there with ragtag crews. Jimmy Butler's an all-league performer. Bam is a 20-10 guy. Tyler Hero is one of the best rotation players in the league, right? So it's not like you're just getting there with ragtag crews. That's not going on. No, right. You're getting there with good players.
Well, chill. What about the Celtics?
The Celtics also. The Celtics got a lot. I mean, if the Celtics were to lose, getting there and losing again, we might be looking at a different Celtics squad.
Oh yeah, Jalen Brown's out of there.
Is he
even if it's not his fault, Chilltown, and even if Jalen Brown plays great in the playoffs and they lose, I believe they're gonna think about moving him because we're not paying $500 million to you two if y'all can't get it done. They're about to owe them what's that? Almost $650 million between the two of them, closer to $7. There's no way.
Tatum's contract is up after this year.
This summer.
Yeah, at the end of this year, and Jalen Brown's contract kicks in next year.
Right.
So both of those two dudes. So if they don't win it,
yeah, it's no way.
If they don't win it, I think we could be looking at a different Celtic team.
Yeah. I know if I'm Brad Stevens and whoever's up above him, it's not even a thought in my mind. If you two can't win a championship, we're not going to give you this. We signed you to the contract, I understand, but somebody will take this contract. They're two great players. It's over. It's a wrap. If the Celtics don't win this year, 2024, that duo is split. It's done.
That may very well be true, Big Ox. I mean, as much as I think about like Olajuwon, it took him 10 years to win it. Jordan, it took him 7 years to win it. Giannis, it took him 8 years to win it. Joker just won it last year. He's in year 8. But even still, if they can't get it done with this being the most talented unit he's been on, and the best team that he's been on, there's a lot of decisions that have to be made after this season. Because you're probably going to lose Drew Holiday, because I think his contract is up after next year, and he said he's retiring. So there's some decisions that have to be made. 100% about that.
Right. Okay, so what player has the most to lose?
What player has the most to lose? That's a good question, Big Ox. The player that has the most to lose in this, if they don't win it, I still think it's over with the Clippers. I think it's either Kawhi Leonard or James Harden. Because James Harden forced his way out of Philadelphia. In the process of him forcing his way out of Philadelphia, he came to the Clippers specifically to win it. And if they don't win it, what was the reason for us doing this? He forced his way out of Philadelphia, and it was nasty too. It wasn't like he forced his way out of Philly and it was amicable. Like, all right, Big Ox, we're going to trade you. No, it was ugly. Like, management, I don't ever want to speak to you again. Well, fine, you can get your ass out of here. I don't want to talk to you neither. It was ugly.
Yeah,
so
took it to Twitter and everything.
Right. So the guy that has the most to lose here is James Harden, because if they win it, now what does that do for him? That tells now he could basically stick it to Daryl Morey. Like, now see what I did after you treated me the way you did. So I think it's James Harden more than anybody, because he forced his way out of Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm also thinking about Kevin Durant, guys like that. But he got some rings. What about Paul George? You said Kawhi and James Harden. What about PG?
Well, the thing with PG is PG's already been there, and that's number one. Number two, PG already told me that he ain't the number one on the championship team. So it's not like this is his unit. Like, he's playing behind Leonard. He's always played behind Leonard. So I don't think that the expectation for Paul George is what it is for Kawhi Leonard. I don't think the expectation for Paul George is what it is for James Harden. James Harden said he is the system. So it's not this is not like these guys are on the crew and they're just okay players. No, the expectation for Paul George, who also has broken down over the last couple of years and underperformed, the expectation for him, I don't think is nearly as high as it is for Leonard, who we've actually seen win it. Not just him. We've seen James Harden go deep into the playoffs and force his way out of Philadelphia to come to the Los Angeles Clippers, not just because it's Los Angeles, but to win it.
Right, exactly. Okay, let's see. We got Real Talk. What's up, Real Talk?
What up?
Yo, can y'all hear me?
What up?
Yep.
How y'all doing, man?
What up?
I wanted to bring one thing up real quick, because I don't know if you talked about it, Chill, but your guy lately has been balling, somebody that you talked about early in the season, well, before the season, and that's DeAndre Ayton. I don't know if you've been looking at what Portland doing, but he has been balling.
31-14 his last game, and 30 and 10 in the game before that. Yeah.
He been balling. As far as the title of the video, playing team, best chance of winning the title, I still think it's the Mavericks. I really think that the Mavericks team post trade deadline is a really good roster. I think Jason Kidd has he's been tightening up the rotations. Luka, Kyrie, and Tim Hardaway Jr. should never be on the court together, ever. Like never. That's horrible. Horrible defense. Horrible defense. Max Kleber should be spending very little time at the 5, especially when you have Lively and Gafford. And he's been kind of tightening up those things, playing a lot more PJ, playing Jones Jr. has been great for them also this year. And they competed very well even without Luka against OKC, who's a top seed in the West. And then when they first made those trades, they the first game was against OKC and they mopped the floor with them. So I really think that Luka, to me, I know a lot of people have Jokic as the best player in the league, best offensive player in the league. I think Luka's right there with him personally. I think through a lot of things, it gets forgotten how good Kyrie Irving is at basketball. Like Kyrie Irving is a damn good basketball player. And he also plays well even next to people that kind of hold the ball. Because even in his Brooklyn years with KD and Harden, that was like one of his best years. And he always played great next to LeBron. So I think, besides the Nuggets, I can't even just definitively say, the rest of the West can just definitively beat the Mavs in a 7-game series. Because I know Luka's going to, maintain his level of play in the playoffs as well. So.
Well, we how many more years you think Irv got at this level?
That's a great question. Because for little guards, I think it Chill, like when the little guard just loses a little quickness, it can kind of change the trajectory of their career. Because I think that's what's happening with Dame. So maybe 2-3 years, maybe.
I was thinking 2, maybe 3 tops. And he doesn't have that kind of rugged game like Donovan Mitchell, where he's diving to the basket and jumping over the top of guys. He doesn't have that kind of game like Dwayne Wade, where he's getting slammed to the floor. We already know what his injury history is, right? He's one of those smooth guys. But the question is how long can he play at this level? And not just how long can he play at this level, how long can he play at this level mesh with Luka? That's the $1 million question. Because when I look at the Dallas Mavericks, I look at a team that's trying to build around Luka's skill set. And it doesn't seem to be working as well as it should. Because a guy like Luka, when you're running with Tim Hardaway Jr., when you're running with Kyrie Irving, when you're running with both Gafford and PJ Washington, he shouldn't have to do as much as he's doing offensively. And when I say offensively, I think about guys like what Magic was doing with James Worthy. But I shouldn't have to score as much as I score. Nearly as much. These guys should be involved in the offense way more. I shouldn't be getting 35, 19, and 18 and stuff like that. I shouldn't have to do that much in order for us to win. So that tells me that maybe the way that this roster is constructed around Luka, maybe it's not constructed around his skill set enough in order for them to be successful, because he still has to do too much.
But he doesn't have to do that much. He just wants to do all that.
I just think he
wants to be the center of everything. It doesn't. Tim Hard. I see people in the chat dogging Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway can play basketball. Tim Hardaway is a hooper. Like, ain't nobody. I'm not trying to sit on this court and watch you dribble that ball for 16 seconds
and then throw me a grenade.
Pass the ball.
You know what I'm saying? Cut him.
Thank you. Passing, cut, move without the ball. Do something. It's just crazy.
The thing about Tim Hardaway though is just like he's a peak and valley player. Like he can get it going and he can go on a hot streak. But when Tim Hardaway is not hitting shots, it gets ugly. And there's a lot of players I'm realizing that's like that. Like what makes the Nuggets to me such a good team is that, like, okay, when KCP isn't hitting shots, it can be like, okay, well, I'm going to lock in and defend. I can defend at a high level. Michael Porter Jr., I can defend, I can rebound. I'm 6'10", I can use my athleticism. Same with Aaron Gordon. some of these players, like a Tim Hardaway Jr., when he's not hitting shots and then he's not good defensively, it looks bad. And then his shot selection at times is horrendous. So I think they tried to get better with that when they picked up like PJ, Daniel Gafford. I think they're good enough. Chill, I also think that Luka is just that good to where, bro, Luka's just going to be 30, 12, and 9. I just think that's how good he is with the ball. And Kyrie's still getting his numbers. He's still getting his game off.
Right.
Tim Hardaway, if he's hitting shots, is still getting his game off. The lob threat with Lively and Gafford just missed his first shot in like 3-4 games.
Yeah.
Because that lob threat with Luka is deadly. So
well, two things. Number one, when you got a guy that only does one thing, and when he's not doing that, he's pretty useless. It's pretty hard. It's pretty difficult to have him on the floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when a guy like Tim Hardaway, who doesn't defend at an above average level, right? He doesn't defend at an even average, maybe to an above average level. His game is one of those games where if he's not making shots, I mean, I think he can get a shot off the dribble. He's shown that he can get a 1 or 2 dribble pull up. He's shown that he can do that. But when his shot is not falling, he really doesn't do much else. So because he doesn't do much else when his shot isn't falling, he's pretty useless when he's on the floor. So Luka is more responsible for him than a lot of other people. Irv, on the other hand, we've seen Irv in the last playoffs. We didn't see him last year, but we've seen Irv over the last couple of years in the playoffs. And I still got to see it from Irv, yo. I do. I still got to see it from him.
I agree with that.
In order for them to be successful, Irv got to show me that he can hold up. I ain't questioning Irv's game. Irv got to show me that he can hold up. I seen him against Boston, how he gave me that first game. And after that first game, he was pedestrian at best. Pedestrian. And then he got hurt against Milwaukee. So, I mean, Irv got to show me that, one, he can hold up, and two, he could consistently raise his game. Until he shows me that, I'm not really impressed with what he's doing in the regular season, because he's been doing that anyway.
Yeah. One thing for you, Big Ox, before I get up out of here, I was having a conversation with some of my fellas, and they were trying to tell me how, number one, Patrick Ewing wouldn't be a top 5 center in today's game, and that he wouldn't be better than Domantas Sabonis. So I wanted to ask you, do you think Patrick Ewing today would be better than Domantas Sabonis?
Yes, Ox, don't do that. Don't do that, Ox.
Hold on.
What's happening right now?
Chill, relax.
Oh my God, what is going on?
Relax, chill out.
I gotta be in the Matrix right now.
What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep it respectful on both sides, right?
Oh my God,
because y'all know how I feel about Domantas. But like, what
you know how I feel about him? I love Domantas.
What type of questions are these? Like, who says stuff like this? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was not. I was an AD fan, right? So they was trying to, make some excuses because Sabonis been dominating AD for some time now.
Gotcha.
So I don't know how we got there, but it got to Patrick. Who were the centers back in the day guarding in the 90s? I was like, Shaq, Patrick Ewing, and they were like, Patrick Ewing, he's not
sorry.
good. I'm like, bro, what?
Well, chill. Remember, just last week, chill. I said this. Chill. I don't think people know how good Patrick Ewing was. I don't think they know.
Yes, you did.
Bro, Patrick, yo, real talk. Just so I can get this on record, Patrick Ewing clears Domantas. It's not really nothing I can talk about. I can't talk about it. I love the way Domantas plays, but man, Patrick Ewing's an all-time great, and Domantas is not an all-time great. So,
all right, I just want to make sure you was gonna keep it a bug out.
Now for everybody, for anybody that knows, if y'all catch me on the graveyard shift, I might have a different opinion. but right now, come on, man. Nah, that's crazy. But yeah. But all right, real talk. Appreciate you for pulling up, brother. Always great combo.
Yeah, good to talk to you, brother. Absolutely. Why does it change on the graveyard shift, Big Ox? So you telling me one thing and you telling somebody else something else?
Nah, because I over there I'm get a little more biased, So I got it. I can't lie to the people right now. But I can, what I'm saying is I probably won't say he's better than Patrick Ewing, but I can make an argument. I can try to debate for him, Just on his ability to orchestrate the offense. That's all. Get the ball. So this one thing too. I don't know this about Patrick Ewing. How was Patrick Ewing? Did he ever get it and go off the glass, or he was more get the outlet and run the floor?
He was just get the outlet and run the floor. That was his game.
Right. And to me, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't need every big man to be able to dribble the ball up the court. There's nothing wrong with that. He ran like a gazelle. I do know that. But let me get Sturdy up here real quick. What's up, Sturdy?
What up?
Yo, salute everybody.
What up?
Y'all know what it is. I'm gonna skip all the shenanigans and get straight to the record side. First off, chill. No, the team that has the most to gain, the franchise that has the most to gain for winning championship this season is obviously the Clippers. Chill, you know, for a team that has existed over 50 years, they're one of the, I believe, 4 teams in NBA history currently that has never been to the finals. Never been to the finals.
Right.
So let alone, and we talking about if you want to speak from a narrative and optics standpoint, imagine what people have to say about Westbrook and James Harden and Paul George if they were to win a championship. So let's get that out the way. They have the most to gain as a team and as a unit, as a franchise, if they were to win a championship.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, in regards to unfortunately, for a player who has the most to gain if they were to win a championship this year, it's KD. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but his career, for some reason, gets discredited based off that one move to Golden State. Everything he's been doing in his whole career is compared to that one move to Golden State, and people discredit this man for the rest of his career, as if he hasn't been balling for nearly 15 to 17 years right now.
Because he went to Golden State to win. That's what he went to Golden State to do. Is that correct?
Yeah.
There was no reason for him to leave there. None. Because if that was the case, then he could have just stayed in Oklahoma City. They would have done everything for him. They would have gotten him what he needed. They would have continued to build that unit around him. There was no reason for him to leave Oklahoma. There was no reason for him to leave Golden State, because he went to Golden State because they played better. He wanted to win. He couldn't get past the gatekeeper in Steph Curry. So now he's got rabbit ears, and he hears people telling him, you can't win without a super team. Oh, I'm going to prove to you that I can do that. When in reality, if you would have just stayed with the crew, why you went there in the first place, none of this stuff would be going on. None of it.
Well, chill. That's the thing. I can't be disingenuous and disregard what KD said on his podcast on why he left OKC and Golden State. He left Golden State because, one, he believed if he would have stayed, then they would have made a hard decision and get rid of either Clay or Draymond. And he didn't want that. He wanted guys to get as much money as possible. Number two, he didn't feel that he was completely part of the team. We saw how the front office was talking about him. We saw how the local beat writers was talking about him. The team as a unit accepted him, but the fan base didn't, the front office didn't, and some of the beat writers in the media didn't. And you said it multiple times, players care about things like that. So lastly, too, in regards to him leaving the OKC, he left because they were making moves that he did not agree upon. For example, he didn't want Scott Brooks fired. He didn't want them to hire Billy Donovan, but they did anyway. He actually implored them and asked them on the 2015 offseason, hey, can we get some more shooters? That way me and Russ can operate the offense a little bit better, and they didn't. End up getting Andre Roberson. So there's nothing wrong with a player exercise his right to leave to go to another franchise called free agency for a reason.
Right.
And then to conclude this point, it's unfortunate that his whole career gets an asterisk behind it because of that one move. I don't punish Moses Malone for going to the Houston Rockets, to the 76ers, and getting the job done. I don't punish Charles Barkley for getting out of Philly to go into the Phoenix Suns to increase his chances to win. It's free agency, it's mobility. It is what it is. That's part of life.
Okay, first of all, those two things are not the same thing. Moses went to Philadelphia. Philly didn't beat Houston in the playoff series. He didn't go jump on that crew because he didn't think he can get past Doc. So those two things are not the same. That's number one. Number two, Barkley was traded. He wasn't a free agent when he went to Phoenix. He was traded for Jeff Hornacek and I think Tim Long, something like that. So he was traded. And not only was he traded, they weren't serious in Philadelphia. They were not serious. They were just trying to make the playoffs every year, and they weren't trying to win. KD, let's stop equating what KD did with all of these other people. KD jumped on a unit that he lost to, that he didn't think that he could get past. That's what he did. It's not the same as anybody else, James, Moses Malone, Barkley, none of these dudes, with the exception of Barkley, who did jump on that Houston Rockets team after they beat them, being up 3-1. Barkley did do that. And we need to talk about, and Barkley needs to, and Barkley does need, because he was a free agent, and Barkley does need to.
Let me bring it back. Let me bring up some history to you there, because a lot of people don't know this. I don't punish Earl Monroe. When the Knicks was beating on the Bullets back in the day, he got on that team. He took a lesser role. I'm not gonna punish him for winning the championship, because at the end of the day, Chill, it takes teams to win championships, not individual players. And as fans, we got to stop that. And to continue with the theme of the show, he is the player that, in my opinion, unfortunately, has the most to gain due to that idiotic logic of the narratives behind it. And also, just to put this man on the coffin for Charles Barkley, only reason he got traded to Houston, to Philly, to Phoenix, only because he couldn't get it to Portland. He went on Dan Patrick's television show and said, in the offseason of 1992, after the Portland Trailblazers lost to the Bulls, I took it upon myself to take a personal meeting with the GM of the Trailblazers to convince him to trade for me. His words. So this idea,
definitely wanted out. He definitely wanted
He wanted, just like KD on the Nets. He wanted to go get traded to one of the best teams to help him win. Ain't nothing wrong with it. So as fans, we understand, like, basketball is not played one-on-one. It takes a great team to win. Ain't nothing wrong with a player holding his front office accountable to get in that position to do so.
Yeah, but you
nothing wrong with that.
Jordan didn't jump on the Pistons, though. He didn't do that. No, Jordan didn't do that.
No. Well, he wasn't going to. He wasn't going
to. James didn't get on the Boston Celtics. He didn't do that. So no.
No, that's a fact. But to continue the theme of the show, the person, in my opinion, who has the most to lose, and it depends on how they lose in terms of coach. I think you touched upon it early on the panel, I believe last year. It's Joe Mazzulla. If the Boston Celtics do not get to the finals, Chill, that's beyond a failure. You said it yourself. You said it yourself multiple times. There's a reason why Sam Cassell is right there. You said it yourself multiple times, Chill. If Boston's underachieved to their standard, you would not be surprised if Sam Cassell step up.
If they by the All-Star break, I felt like if they was at 500, he was out.
Yeah, but as we've seen with over 60 amount of game sample size, this team is by far the best team in the East. Period. Mm-hmm. They're going to comfortably get to the finals, but if they so happen to lose to potentially the Heat, to the Bucks, or even the Knicks, as y'all alluded to, or even the Cavs, that's a beyond failed standard. It's not like they lose to Denver, who are the champions.
Right. That's fair. You know I can get with that. I can definitely get with that. Sure, that's definitely fair.
And like you said earlier, I do agree with you. Unfortunately, for the same similar reasons, Doc does have the most to gain if the Bucks were to win. Unfortunately, for some odd reason, he has to prove that he has to prove himself to win to be a championship winning coach. We already did it. I don't care. Chill us. We've been watching the NBA for decades. We all know just because you have elite talent does not guarantee your team is going to win.
That does not mean that.
Right.
That does
you
not
can play perfect. You can play perfect and lose.
Yeah.
Perfect and lose. So it's like it is what it is. So when people want to intentionally put majority of the blame on Doc's failures since his departure on the Celtics all on Doc, yeah, I get it. It's cute and easy to say he's the guy that gave up the most 3-1 leads. It's cute and easy to say he's the guy that gave up a lot of 2-0 leads. But it's also lazy to leave out the context on how his team lost in each of those different scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Well, all right, Stardy, appreciate you pulling up, fam, giving us some knowledge.
Last thing, just to answer your question, it was the wire draft that we did, and you won that draft. And I'm gonna keep look out for the because we're gonna do a hip hop album draft soon, and I want you there too. So look out for that.
Yeah, just send me the link, bro. It's all good. I'll be there.
No problem. Y'all hit the like buttons and subscribe, bro. It's free.
Definitely. All right, Stardy.
Yes, sir.
So chill. So we got a couple people that answered that question. Real Talk answered the question. He said it was the Mavs. What is your answer? What playing team has the best chances of winning the NBA title?
The Miami Heat, because they was already there.
Will Miami be a playing team? Are they going to stay in playing team?
I think so. To be honest with you, I'm looking at how Orlando's been playing, Indiana. I mean, I don't think Atlanta has a shot at winning the NBA championship. Neither does Chicago. Philadelphia, without Joel Embiid, I don't think they have a chance in winning the NBA championship. So the only team, if the playoffs started today, would be the Miami Heat because they actually been to the NBA championship. So I think that they're the only team. The Lakers, we saw what happened with them last year when they ran up on Denver, and what Denver has done to them this season. That's not including if they end up getting a higher seed and they got to see Sacramento in the playoffs. We already know what the story is.
They don't want that.
They don't want nothing to do with the Sacramento Kings. Nothing. So the one team
are the Suns playing right now? Are they
yes, they're 7 seed. They're a 7 seed.
No love for the Suns, chill.
Not because I haven't seen them do it. I've seen Miami as a play-in team get to the NBA championship. That's happened before. So there's no reason for me to think that of all those teams that I'm picking against in terms of the play-in, that they can't do it. Excuse me.
Right. We got people in the chat making excuses for last year's playoff run for the Lakers, saying that LeBron was hurt. Yeah, LeBron was tired. LeBron was exhausted. You can see. I've never seen LeBron like that, bent over, looking like, wow, I can't breathe. Like I've never seen LeBron like that before. I saw it last year. He had no legs in his jump shot. He was shooting 2 feet behind the 3-point line. LeBron was gassed, and that's what I'm saying. He's not gonna be able to carry the squad to the championship anymore.
Do you know why he was hurt, Big Ox? Because he's old. That's why. Because he's old. That's why. I mean,
like if LeBron was playing in in another league where they played 40, 50 games a season instead of 82,
we're having a way different conversation.
It would be fine. It would be perfect.
We're having a way different conversation.
82 games, then you have to win 16 games to win the championship in the playoffs. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to play about, let's just call it what it is. You got to play 105 games to win the championship. Let's say that. Let's say you got to play 100. Let's say you got to play 100 games to win the championship. 40 years old.
And be clear, Big Ox, they ain't walking by nobody in the playoffs. It ain't like they're going 4-0, 4-1. They ain't smoking nobody. There is nobody in the playoffs that I could look at the Lakers and go, yo, they smoked them dudes. I mean, I don't see anybody. I think that they could handle some teams. I think they could handle Oklahoma City. Mm-hmm. That's the only team that I'm thinking about. There's not many other teams that I'm thinking. I think they can handle the Clippers because the Clippers have similar in terms of vets. I think they can handle them, but they ain't smoking nobody. No.
Right. This is too much. It's too much.
No.
So Chill's answer is the Miami Heat have the best chance of winning the NBA title. Okay, we got one more. We got one more super chat too. I'll get to that first. Let me see. From FIFA Boy, he says Ox is right. Saturday episodes hit different. And Chill, am I a goofy?
That's a question for you to answer. Are you a goofy? I mean, I don't know you like that. I mean, I think I've spoken to you a couple of times. I don't remember anything goofy that you said to me. So. I'm not sure you are. Mm-mm.
FIFA, you my man, FIFA. But I mean, is that a cat with a blonde wig in your profile? That's
what it looked like, right? Yeah. I thought it was an owl. Then I looked at it close. I'm like, yeah, that's a cat with a blonde wig. So
hey, I thought that was what was the puppet? Lamb chop?
Yeah,
that's what I thought that was at first. Okay, yeah, all right. Appreciate you, FIFA boy. Saturday episodes definitely do hit different. You're not lying. We got one more person in the back. Oh, that's spaghetti. Oh, that's crazy. Somebody put spaghetti on the cat. Oh man, that's crazy. Don't let the wrong person see that. You're going to the slammer. But
straight to the slammer.
Okay, we got Jay. What's up, Jay?
What up?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yep. What up?
Chill. Do you think that Orlando has any way at all of going deep in the postseason this year?
I think their ceiling is winning the first round playoff series. That's as far as I think that they could go. I don't think they go deeper than that.
You don't think they can get to maybe sneakily get to a conference championship appearance?
No, I don't think they could sneak into the conference championship. I doubt that very seriously. I think they could, with their defense, I think they could possibly win a playoff series. I think that could happen.
Answer the question. I think that the team that has the most to gain out of this, I do think it's the Clippers, because I mean, what ends up being the conversation with, guys like Russ, Paul George, and James Harden, what ends up being the conversation with guys like that, Chill?
Mm-hmm. Well, you already know how I feel about Russ, and if you add a championship to his resume, Now we talking about Russ way different because Russ is not a scrub. So if Russ adds a championship to being a 10-time All-Star and a 9-time All-Pro, now we talking about something way different. Way different when we talk about Russ. We got to talk about him different because it's not like he over there sitting on the bench with the Clippers. He's heavy in their rotation. He's a big part of what they're trying to do over there. So
and you know what, too?
It changes his legacy.
Chill. And for me, myself, I want to hold myself accountable and say I have to show him love for that championship because I showed Jay Kidd big love for that championship in 2011.
Right. That might have put Jay Kidd in the top 5. Like if that don't happen, is Jay Kidd a top 5 point guard?
Well, for me, yeah, he was stamped. For me,
right.
But for everybody else, I don't know.
I think it stamped him when he did that. I think it stamped him when he did that. So,
do you think people are going to devalue the championship for James Harden though, because he bounced around so many teams to get it? Do you think they're going to devalue it for him?
Yeah, they can try to, but this is the reason why they got together. I mean, you're gonna have people. Well, the only reason why you won it because you got on the bomb squad, and if he loses, it's gonna be you couldn't win it because you're James Harden, and that's what you do. So that's usually how that goes. There's definitely gonna be haters who devalue it 100%. But this is gonna help James Harden's legacy if they do win it.
MVP, multiple scoring titles,
Absolutely.
NBA champion. Yep. Do you have Kawhi? What's the conversation with Kawhi though? Now that he's a 3-time champ and a 3,
it'll get really weird with Kawhi because now, I mean, if he ends up winning a 3rd one, like you'll have some people who will now overrate him because Kawhi Leonard hasn't had those elite seasons necessary to be in the all-time great conversations. He hasn't had those. He's had elite seasons, but he hasn't had the longevity that those guys have had. And to win the NBA championship 3 times, and if he's the Finals MVP,
and possibly win 3-time Final MVP, yeah.
With 3 different teams, the conversation is going to get really weird with him. Really weird. It's probably a conversation that I'm not looking forward to having if they end up winning. So. All right, brother. Good to talk to you.
So, do you think he bumped? Well, all right, chill. You have a good one.
All right, brother. Good to talk to you.
All right, Jack.
Where you find me at?
Yeah. We got one more super chat from D9 says, salute Chillin' Ox. Shout out chat too. Yeah, shout out to everybody. Shout out to you, Chill Town. Shout out to the to the chat, man. Great.
The suits is in our ear, unfortunately.
Man. It is that time, y'all.
Yeah, the suit they get in our ear. It is that time.
But y'all, it was a great Saturday episode, like always, man. Appreciate y'all for pulling up. We'll catch y'all again on Wednesday with another episode of Chill with Chill. We will catch y'all on Monday on the panel. So y'all know what it be, man. Check y'all next time. Appreciate everybody. Chill Town.
Drink some water. Put on a suit. Don't drink and drive. Hey man, call your mother. When last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. If you're in the area and you had one too many, call my man right here. He'll come get you. He will come scoop you. He got you covered. Call my man right here. He'll come get you. So until then, take it light, but take it.
All right, y'all.
Later. Absolutely. Good to see you guys. No doubt. Absolutely.